Someone in the chat earlier asked, how did we win this game? Or maybe it was, I have no idea how we won this game. And I'm going to tell you, okay? It's one word and one word only. Well, it's one name. Jeremy Sochan. I'm taking him all over this screen. I don't know what's going on. Jeremy Sochan. This is why we won this game. Jeremy Sochan. Real talk. So, I don't know. Before we get into this game, I just want to say this, all right? Every single person last season that said Sochan should be traded, that said he's garbage, that said the point guard experiment was all for naught. I understand that perspective to an extent, right? But I thought that as the season went on last season that you started to see, oh no, that point guard experiment actually did help him. And you're seeing it this season as well. It did help him. His vision is better, right? He's a little bit more comfortable with the ball in his hands. So it did help. But I just want all those people that said that he was trash and that he needed to go. I need you to not only apologize, but you need to listen to every single person that was in this chat. I'm sure you met some people in chat. Every single person in chat that told you that Jeremy Sochan is important for this team, that he's essential to what the Spurs have going on for the future. I need you to listen to them, okay? You're not ready to drive yet. You're not ready to give your own takes yet, okay? You need to learn. You need to learn a little bit. Learn from your senseis, all right? Learn. And then you can drive. But right now, you're not ready to drive, okay? I just want an apology. Jeremy deserves an apology. And the thing is, he actually tweeted this out the other day. Hold on, maybe we can find this. He hears the noise, right? These players aren't necessarily immune to it. He hears the noise. Where's that tweet? Here it is. All sports, one way or another, you'll hear something about yourself, the good and the bad. He hears it. He hears all of it. He pays attention. So, look. I just thought that was completely overblown when people said that he's not important to this team. And I know that a lot of people are going to leave it whenever this is uploaded. A lot of people are going to leave comments and they're going to say, wow, you're just going to overreact to this one game. But this is continuous, okay? This isn't just because it was in a crazy great fashion in the fourth quarter that you saw him just completely take over. This is something that happens all the time. He's consistent. I would make the argument. No, I don't have to make this argument. I think it's true. Jeremy Sochan is the most consistent player on this team. Quarter 1 to quarter 4, he is the most consistent with what he does. Every single game, you know what you're going to get out of Jeremy Sochan. This is the reason why there were plenty of games, especially early on this season, where he would get a stupid amount of minutes compared to some of his peers. It's because he is consistent, always consistent. Now, in this game in particular, you know, obviously we're going to give our flowers to everyone else, Julian Champagny, of course. But in this game, the San Antonio Spurs, they were going to lose it. And I don't think they should have lost this game at all, right? We shouldn't even been in that predicament. We were going to lose it. Our defense was horrible. Offense was horrible. Turning the ball over. We got to look at how many turnovers we had. It felt like it was 50, but I could be wrong. It was really bad. Let me see. Control, find Jeremy Sochan. All right. So as you can see here, so San Antonio Spurs, they're down by, I can do math, 13. They're down by 13. As soon as Sochan comes in, things start to shift. You go on a run. Now, it didn't come from the hands of Sochan as far as scoring, but his defense was definitely there. I mean, it was really impressive. The whole defensive shift for the team changed. Everyone played better defensively. Everything looked better. Blake Wesley did a good job as well, defensively. I need to bring that up. But Sochan was very frustrating, and you can tell he was frustrating, right? He was very frustrating. You can tell that the Trailblazers were getting a little irritated with him. But you have here right here, Jeremy Sochan blocks a 13-foot 2-point shot. He was all over the place. He was all over the court. His energy was undeniable. He was grabbing boards. He had the Trailblazers losing it. Gosh, thank you, dude. Oh, say sorry to Sochan. Where are those Duran fans? Yeah, Duran. No offense to Duran, but he's a pretty one-dimensional player, right? You get Sochan and he's so versatile. I did not agree with going after Duran that draft. Anyways. So it really came down to Sochan. It really did. All right. I know I'm kicking a dead horse, but I do need to emphasize that. I need to emphasize that. And I need to emphasize the fact that this is continuous. This isn't just one quarter. I know that this game was fun to see the Spurs come back. I know that a lot of people turned the game off in the fourth quarter and they said it's over. And, you know, if you watched it, you were like, oh my goodness, Sochan's actually pretty good. He's always been like this. Even if the stats don't show it, because he's not the type of player that's going to put up crazy amount of stats. He's just not. But even if the stats don't show it, he is that guy. Another frustrating narrative, because I think that what it really comes down to is a lot of people feel kind of weird about Sochan, right? Maybe it's the colored hair, maybe it's the piercings, I don't know. It's kind of non-traditional Spur, and I think that people have preconceived notions about him. Last season, when there was no evidence whatsoever of this being true, there were people saying that Sochan was jealous of Victor Wembanyama, right? And now this season, I've seen a lot of people say, well, Sochan doesn't fit with the team. And you're like, why doesn't Sochan fit with the team? He doesn't fit with the team because he clogs up the paint and Wemby can't get in there. If you pay attention to these games, Wemby doesn't go near the paint at all. It doesn't matter who he's on the court with. Wemby does not go into the paint. He doesn't. It's everyone else making cuts and Wemby finding them. He does not go to the paint. Whether Sochan is in the game or not is very rare. And it's understandable. I'm not criticizing Wemby in this regard because, you know, he hasn't had a full offseason of building strength. He hasn't had a full offseason of finding his go-to shot. So, you know, obviously he's most comfortable being a guard right now. And that's fine. That's cool. But yeah, I think that's a silly narrative. But the idea that Sochan doesn't fit with us is so asinine to me because that archetype, that type of player fits on any team, every team in the NBA. Jeremy Sochan fits. He's that type of player. Every team can use a connector, every single one of them. And the ones in the NBA that he doesn't fit, they probably already have their version of a Sochan. But this type of player fits everywhere. So when you start saying that Sochan doesn't fit with the Spurs, guys, I don't know. I don't know what you want. I'm going to say this with my whole chest, okay? Jeremy Sochan, Victor Wembanyama, Devin Vassell, and I'm going to throw Julian Champagnie in there. You do not trade these players. You do not trade them. Now, the reason why you don't trade Julian Champagnie is, I mean, that contract is ridiculous, and he's obviously outperforming that contract. You know, not expecting him to be a star or anything. But those four guys, I don't want them touched. Oh, Castle. I'm sorry. Yeah, obviously Castle. I didn't see Castle on here, so. Larry, you funny. But those guys, don't touch. You don't touch them. All right? So I want to say that. So yes, am I on the hype train? Yes. Does it seem like Sochan gets a crazy amount of praise from me? Yes. But you know what? I think it's deserved. I'm sorry. I think it's undoubtedly deserved. And I think too often than not, he doesn't get it. The Spurs struggle or they have a bad game or whatever, it's all on Sochan. Because you see how hyperactive. First off, I think a lot of people don't like him, but you see how hyperactive he is, right? You see that he's around the boards. You see that he's constantly cutting to get the right angle to score, and people think, "Oh my goodness, he's just clogging. Oh, he's just so awful." And it's like, no, dude, he's a genuinely good player. He's making the right reads. He's the most consistent. So I want to throw that out there. We got to throw that out there, okay? We got to throw that out there. So I hope we all understand that he's him. Do we understand that? Okay. All right, so what we're about to do is we're going to go over this game. We're going to go over this game, and we're going to love it. We're going to love going over this game, okay? So first and foremost, let's talk about, what do we want to talk about? I guess the team as a whole, because I wanted to talk about the turnovers, because how many turnovers did we have? I actually don't know this, but it felt like we had 50. We had the same amount as them. Gosh, did all of their turnovers come in the fourth? Like what? Okay. All right. We have 15 to their 16. I could have sworn we had more than them. God, the Trailblazers are not a good team. So in plays like we used to before threes took over. Thanks, Gregory. Yeah, for sure. And I don't think it's a matter of Sochan avoiding taking threes. I think it's all part of the plan right now. When Victor Wembanyama stays around the perimeter, why would you not have Sochan continuously cutting? He's been working on his shot, but you know, it's just not really going to show itself right now with how the team's constructed. Now, if Wemby, you know, gets a little bit more strength and, you know, his post game improves into next season, then we're going to see some more outside shots. But right now, I mean, it's fine. It's totally fine. But yeah, so we out rebounded them 13-8. Any other standouts here? Way more assists. Well, at least 7 more assists. Let's see. Points in the paint. Oh, another thing I want to bring up. Okay, I'm probably all over the place right now. Because how many threes did they have? Okay, they had 16. Okay, it was just Grant then who went off. So one thing that stood out to me is, my God, guys, without Castle, our perimeter defense looks pretty bad. We kind of forgot, and Chris Paul. Chris Paul is not a slouch either defensively. We looked pretty bad. We looked pretty terrible. Thanks for the super chat, man. Dang, Brandon, what the heck? He said, I've said this about Julian. He's better than Keldon in almost every stat. I think talent-wise, Keldon is better. But yeah, as far as fit and what he brings, yeah, I think Julian's definitely a better fit. Nice role player, 3-and-D. That's all you really need. Smart player, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Yeah. I do like Julian a lot. And his contract is insane right now. Anyways, so I guess we can go player to player. Julian Champagnie was great. Got really clutch in the fourth quarter, as kind of got accustomed to. You know, unfortunately, when the Spurs lose as many games as they lost, we kind of lose track of who's clutch and who's not, right? Like, we just don't pay attention. Julian Champagnie, at least this is my, you know, I could be, if I go back and we look at the stats, I could be completely wrong on this, okay? It's just more of a vibe and what I've been seeing over the past couple years. He hits some very timely shots. He does. He hits quite a few timely shots. Not nervous whatsoever of the moment. And yeah, he was great in this game. All right, we already talked about Jeremy Sochan. We don't have to say anything else. He's great. Harrison Barnes, minus 11. But you know what? I'll be real with you. I felt comfortable when Harrison Barnes was on the court, especially in the fourth quarter. I thought the way that we finished was it was a very good team that we finished with at the end. Chris Paul got ejected, so there's that. He got 2 turnovers early. He only played 11 minutes. But before that, he had a steal, 4 assists, 2 for 2. And yeah. So the fact that the Spurs were missing their primary point guards and still managed to get the W is huge, I think. Sandro. Oh, yeah, we probably need to talk about Sandro. So this is not me talking trash about him, okay? I truly do like him. I do like him as a player. This game was really bad, guys. Like, it was really bad. His defense, and I know that was something he's been very cognizant of, like trying to improve his defense, trying to prove to he said this himself, I'm not just making this up, prove to the coaching staff that his defense is viable and he'll be able to be on the court for extended minutes, extended periods of time. But unfortunately, this game, it was really bad. And I think maybe it just comes down to also, maybe it just comes down to him not playing for a while. You know, he brought the hustle. I mean, he always plays hard. Like, there's no doubt about that. He always plays hard, but defensively he was getting cooked, man. Yeah, he was getting absolutely cooked. So yeah, I still think, unfortunately, Collins is our better defender. I think he's a better defender than Mamu. Thanks, man. Thanks for the super chat. Mamu. I mean, I love Mamu, right? I want him to get more minutes, and I think as time goes on, maybe after Sunday, you know, he'll be way more comfortable. But he just looked a little slow defensively, and I'm not accustomed to that, because I thought this season he's looked okay defensively. But this game, I don't know. Bassey was good. I have nothing to say about Bassey. He was good for what he is. I don't think that he's any type of. I don't think anybody thinks this. I don't think you guys think this either. I don't think he's like a primary or long-term solution to the backup situation for Wemby by any stretch of the imagination. But for what he is, I think that he goes in there, he hustles, he plays hard, and I like him. I like his energy. I like his demeanor, right? I like his morale. I just like him. I like him. He's pretty bouncy too, defensively. Devin Vassell, he's the man, y'all. He's the man. He hit a really clutch shot. I mean, his shooting touch is top tier. If anybody has any questions on whether or not he's worth the money, if he's healthy, he's outplaying his contract. I mean, he's easily going to outplay his contract. Let's see how many times his name pops up in that fourth quarter. All right, so he had a 3 at the beginning of the game. He had a driving layup. He had a technical foul. Chat, refresh my memory. What did Devin Vassell get a technical foul for? I don't remember this. I don't know if I went to the bathroom or what. I don't remember the tech. What did he get a tech for? Maybe you guys are right. Maybe the refs were bad, because I don't see any reason Devin Vassell would get a tech. 1 and 1. He got fouled, no call. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see Devin Vassell. We need to look up how many techs Devin Vassell actually has. Or maybe someone in the chat can look that up, because that actually shocks me. I never see him get a tech. Yeah, maybe refs were pretty bad. All right. So Devin had a bad pass there. That's okay. He made a free throw. What shot was it? It was a big shot he hit. He assisted to Julian Champagnie for a 3-pointer. And everyone remembers that, because Julian Champagnie is him. And then he assisted him again on another 3-pointer. Yeah, the 2-point makes 3-point, or oh my goodness, 13-foot 2-point shot assisted by Jeremy Sochan. Yeah, that was clutch. That was so nasty. And then Victor Wembanyama went ahead and finished off that game with 2 free throws. Knocked him down. Got out of there. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. I want to say this too. Chauncey Billups. I don't know how he is as a coach, but man, that was a reactionary thing that he did with that foul, where it was like a minute left, and he challenged it. I think it was a foul. It was like, why did you challenge that? Because you lose your timeout, right? Like, why did he do that? And Lord knows at the end they needed that timeout. I'm not crazy, right? He lost his time. I know he lost a challenge, and don't you lose your timeout? I don't understand why he did that. Yes? Yeah. So I don't understand that. I don't know why that was terrible. I was even thinking, like, why did you challenge that? This is not the time to challenge that. You might need that timeout. I don't know. Anyways. Lord knows they needed it. Wemby got smacked on the face. Clear offensive. Still no call. Dang. Did I read well? Bassey plus 19? No. Bassey had a -1. -1. Don't let that fool you. I mean, he had a good game. Keep in mind the Spurs were down the entire time. All right, so elephant in the room. So I saw a lot of people mentioning this when I first went live. Malachi Branham, -21, plus minus. All right, so this is my thoughts on it. All right, it's kind of similar to Mamu here. So actually, I have two thoughts about Malachi. One of which is concerning. The other is not concerning whatsoever. So I'll start with the one that's not that concerning. So as far as him being point guard this game, because the Spurs needed him to be, which it makes sense, right? You have Chris Paul out, you have Castle out, Malachi Branham in college. He was a pick and roll guard. You know, he's a decent ball handler. It makes sense. So he was rusty. There were a few times where he made some strange decisions, right? And it wasn't the best. And obviously, defensively, we know what Malachi Branham is. Defensively, it is what it is. But he hasn't really played, so obviously he would be rusty. And I'm okay with that. I think that that's a fair way of viewing that. But the second thing, which is a little bit more concerning, which I'm trying to remember if it was Mitch Johnson that actually coached him, so maybe it won't be as concerning. But anyways, so Malachi is the type of player, and he'll probably always be this type of player, that he needs a coach to put a fire underneath him. And this isn't me just saying that. Like this is back in high school. You can go and you can read up about Malachi, like how he got his first dunk. It was a coach pushing him. It's always these like sparks that coaches, instill in him that make him perform a little bit better, right? Because he can get in these modes where his brain isn't braining, right? It's just not necessarily there. He's not making good decisions. So he does need coaches to kind of put a fire underneath them. And I believe it was the summer league in which was it Mitch Johnson? I wish, guys, I know this is so like random, and I'm trying to remember back when we talked about this because this was a long time ago. And I'm like, was that Mitch Johnson? It was a coach that got onto him and he went off. Brain isn't braining? Yeah, I don't know. Mr. Freeze? Yeah, he has brain freeze. I wish I knew. I can't remember. And I don't even know what I would Google to find this information. But it was a game in the G League. Actually, let's see. Malachi. Was it the G League or was it I think it was the Summer League. Summer League performance. Malachi Branham's Summer League redemption, fueled by Twitter trolls. 29 points on, was it this game? No. Oh, no. It's not this game. I don't think it's this game. Anyways, just you just gotta take my word for it. It was a game in which he went off, and it was a coach that actually said something to him that pushed him, and he ended up going off in one of these performances. So just know he's that type of player, right? He's not somebody that necessarily, I don't mean this in an awful way, but like doesn't really motivate himself as much at times on the court. And that's what worries me a little bit. So if Mitch Johnson is the type that can do that, and that's why I was trying to think back, was he the one that pushed him in that to perform in that way? I think we're fine, but that's the reason why I love Popovich for Malachi, right? Pop knows how to say the right thing to set you off. So that's all I was saying. I know that was like long-winded or whatnot. I was just trying to figure out Forbes. So you were answering a question, guys. Who's worse, Branham or Bryn Forbes? Bryn Forbes. Are you kidding me? Bryn Forbes. Bryn Forbes can hit some threes, but Malachi has way more to his game than Forbes. Let's see. With how Wesley played, how do you feel about letting Trey Jones walk? Oh, man, if I'm being honest, okay, I don't want to just say I'll let Blake Wesley walk, but like, if I had to compare like Wesley to Trey, like I can only choose one, I'm rolling with Jones. I don't think I'm rolling with Wesley if I can only choose one of those guys. Yeah. Lonnie over Forbes, over Branham, over Wesley. You're choosing Lonnie over Branham and Wesley. I just don't agree with that. I think we're starting to lose track of it. First off, Lonnie can't even play in the NBA right now. If Malachi Branham or Blake Wesley is like let go, I think they find an NBA team. Trey Jones probably did not get that extension. Maybe just a minimum at the end of free agency. Okay. Anyways, I guess that's all we really got to talk about, right? I thought the Spurs came back, played tough. I think they never believe. Another thing that's positive in this game, which seems like it's the flip side now. They started off strong, right? 33-25, and then second quarter 19-17, whatever. Great defense, I guess, on both teams. Then the third quarter, this is when it was like, what the heck, Spurs? Like, you're usually good in the third quarter. And they came back strong in the fourth. But yeah, so I don't know. Sochan is important. There's no trading him. I think I will say untouchable. I will say Wemby's untouchable. I will say Devin's untouchable. Castle's untouchable. And I'm going to throw Julian Champagnie in that only because, you know, his contract is crazy. That's all I have to say about this game. It was a good game. It was awesome.